She can't do sums a bit, the Queen said together, with great emphasis. Can you do sums? Alice said, turning suddenly on the White Queen, for she didn't like being found fault with so much. The Queen gasped and shut her eyes. I can do addition, if you give me time, but I can't do subtraction under any circumstances. Of course, you know your ABC, said the Red Queen. To be sure I do, said Alice. So do I, the White Queen whispered. We'll often say it over together, dear, and I'll tell you a secret. I can read words of one letter. Isn't that grand? However, don't be discouraged. You'll come to it in time. Here, the Red Queen began again. Can you answer useful questions? She said. How is bread made? I know that, Alice cried eagerly. You take some flour. Where do you pick the flour? The White Queen asked. In a garden or in the hedges? Well, it isn't picked at all, Alice explained. It's ground. How many acres of ground? Said the White Queen. You mustn't leave out so many things. Fan her head, the Red Queen said. The Red Queen anxiously interrupted. She'll be feverish after so much thinking. So they set to work and fanned her with bunches of leaves, till she had to beg them to leave off. It blew her hair about so. She's all right again now, said the Red Queen. Do you know languages? What's French for fiddle-dee-dee? Fiddle-dee-dee's not English, Alice replied gravely. Whoever said it was, said the Red Queen. Alice thought she saw a way out of the difficulty this time. If you'll tell me what language fiddle-dee-dee is, I'll tell you French for it, she exclaimed triumphantly. But the Red Queen drew herself up rather stiffly and said, Queens never make bargains. I wish queens never ask questions, Alice thought to herself. Don't let us quarrel, the White Queen said in an anxious tone. What's the cause of lightning? The cause of lightning, Alice said very decidedly, for she felt quite certain about this, is the thunder. No, she hastily corrected herself. I meant the other way. It's too late to correct it, the Red Queen said. When you've once said a thing, that fixes it. You must take the consequences. Which reminds me, the White Queen said, looking down and nervously clasping and unclasping her hands. We had such a thunderstorm last Tuesday. I mean, one of the last sets of Tuesdays, you know? Alice was puzzled. In our country, she remarked, there's only one day at a time. And I would comment that sometimes one day at a time is a lot, especially when we're in 2020. One day at a time, anything could happen in a day. It's crazy things that we don't even expect. But taking things one day at a time is a good plan. In fact, I'm going to write that in my notebook. So I did have it here. Just dated it and put the chapter on. So one day at a time. That is a good... we should have that right up on the wall. Every wall we see. The Red Queen said, That's a poor, thin way of doing things. Now here, we mostly have days and nights, 2 or 3 at a time, and sometimes in the winter we take as many as 5 nights together for warmth, you know. Are 5 nights warmer than 1 night, then? Alice ventured to ask. 5 times as warm, of course, but they should be 5 times as cold by the same rule. Just so, cried the Queen. 5 times as warm and 5 times as cold. Just as I'm 5 times as rich as you are and 5 times as clever. Alice sighed and gave up. It's exactly like a riddle with no answer, she thought. Humpty Dumpty saw it too, the White Queen went on in a low voice, more as if she were talking to herself. He came to her door with a corkscrew in his hand. What did he want? Said the Red Queen. He said he would come in, the White Queen went on, because he was looking for a hippopotamus. Now, as it happened, there wasn't such a thing in the house that morning. Is there generally? Alice asked in an astonished tone. Well, only on Tuesdays, said the Queen. I know what he came for, said Alice. He wanted to punish the fish because... Here the White Queen began again. It was such a thunderstorm you can't think. She never could, you know, said the White Queen. And part of the roof came off. And ever so much thunder got in, and it went rolling around the room in great lumps, and knocking over tables and things till I was so frightened I couldn't remember my own name. Alice thought to herself, I should never try to remember my name in the middle of an accident. Where would be the use of it? But she did not say this aloud for fear of hurting the poor Queen's feeling. Your Majesty must excuse her, the Red Queen said to Alice. Taking one of the White Queen's hands in her own and gently stroking it, she means well, but she can't help saying foolish things as a general rule. The White Queen looked timidly at Alice, who felt she ought to say something kind, but really couldn't think of anything at the moment. She never was really well brought up, the Red Queen went on, but it's amazing how good-tempered she is. Pat her on the head and see how pleased she'll be. But this is more than Alice had courage to do. A little kindness and putting her hair in papers would do wonders with her. The White Queen gave a deep sigh and laid her head on Alice's shoulder. I am so sleepy, she moaned. She's tired, poor thing, said the Red Queen. Smooth her hair and lend her your nightcap and sing her a soothing lullaby. I haven't got a nightcap with me, and Alice, as she tried to obey the first direction, and I don't know any soothing lullabies. I must do it myself, then, said the Red Queen, and she began. Hush-a-bye, lady.